All right.
We're live.
We're live
Oh my God, live for the first time.
for the first time.
Yeah,
And yeah, so we're here. We are
yeah,
here
we're here.
for
Finally, after what? It's been almost a year now, hasn't it? Or no, over a year since we first talked about doing this.
I think so, and we'll talk about that a little bit, guys. Before we get into everything, because some people are going to show up and it's going to show up on their feeds. Let me share this everywhere, so that more people can watch it. But yeah, let me share it, and then we will talk all about this thing because I'm really excited about the launch
Oh man, me too.
of this
I
comic.
can't wait. Actually,
Yes.
while you're doing that, let me see if I have something in a book because I wanted to show everyone. Actually, what I'll do is I'll show the original design in our updates because I told people I would show the original design of the character and then show the different iterations of going forward of
Yes.
how we got where we are now. And that first design was so bad.
You're talking like even before she
the
changed?
the '90s, my '90s
Oh, yes,
design
yes,
because
yes.
yeah, this going way back.
Okay, Quintara Stone, the Immortal Templar. Okay, so let me get the Kickstarter link as well to put it in there. And then we are going to be rocking and rolling, and I am so pumped up for this. So, yeah, I mean, why don't you, while I'm doing all this links and getting this preview ready, why don't you just kind of like tell me your story, and how we got here? Because I jumped on way down the road, technically.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny. It was back in the '90s, and the internet was kind of still, I guess, in its early stages as far as being popular and whatnot. And I would go into, the comic book chat rooms and ICQ and instant messenger through AOL was still a thing, and I would meet these comic book guys from all over the place, and they wanted to do some kind of an anthology book and it, of course never came about because back then it was just it wasn't what it is today. It was harder to put your own stuff out back then,
Yeah.
and we were all from different places, so who was going to publish it, who was going to pay for it, and all this, it just kind of fell apart. And some guy threw a name out at me. He says, I'm never going to use it, do what you want with it. I was like, all right, cool. And then I started doing all the research on the Templars, and I was like, this is really cool. And what if I made them an immortal and they were here today and they fought demons, and so that part of it's kind of always been there. The
Mhm.
immortal and the demons have always been a big part of it, and I had other characters and I didn't know if they would fit together, and then way down the road I started talking to a couple of writers. This when I lived in Canada for a couple of years, and I had a guy who was originally working on the balance with me, and he did a whole bunch of stuff, and I was looking at it and I was going, yeah, this really isn't what I created anymore. So I kind of bowed out of that because I don't want any major changes to the initial vision of any of the characters.
Right.
And then when I lived in California a couple of years ago, I started going to WonderCon. And WonderCon, the last WonderCon I went to was 2019, and they had this really cool thing after the show, and it was the first time they'd done it. It was like speed dating for writers and artists. The
So
artist would
matching
sit,
you up.
yeah, the artists would sit stationary on one side of the table. The
Yeah.
writers would move around the room every 3 minutes, throw their pitches. You can exchange information, and if there was somebody you wanted to work with, yeah, you guys contact each other after the show and
Right.
see what you wanted to do. And I met this guy that was in the video game industry, and he was like a project manager. He wrote some stuff, and we had, I want to say, maybe 4 or 5 sit downs. We'd go out to lunch, we'd talk about the book, and he wanted to do Templar.
Okay.
And this was when Templar was still a guy, was a male character,
Right.
and we did a lot of the world building, and after sat down, and he was about saying he was about ready to sit down and write a first draft of the script, and he ghosted me. Just never heard from the guy again. He's like, well, we need to talk about the legal stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll have Tamara draw something up. What do you want in the contract?
Yeah.
Never heard from him again. And so what I ended up doing is what I ended up sending you was what I initially sent him. And any changes that he made, I threw out and we started over from where I started. So so none of his stuff is actually in the book, which is great. So we don't have any issues there.
Cuts down on the legalness of
Right.
it.
And then me and you met through, the Kickstarter for Hollowed.
Yeah.
Because, I know Darius, and I've known Darius from the Buffalo shows and the comic group through Queen City. We've, talked a couple times. I was like, it's really cool. I wanted to support him, supported the book. Then you reached out to me and then we started talking, and I was like, hey, look at all this stuff I got. And, I think Templar was the one that jumped out to you the most.
Yeah, absolutely, it did. Ruben, my co-writer on In Fairy, which is also funding right now on
Funded.
Kickstarter. Funded
Yeah.
right
Awesome.
now.
That must have been great to wake up to today.
It was. It absolutely was.
Congrats,
Funding,
Ruben.
funded. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for helping everybody who's done that. He'd love to do that. I think he means, I don't know what he means by that. You'll have to clarify, Ruben.
Yeah,
But
elaborate,
elaborate
Ruben.
what you're talking about. So rock on. Yes, rock on, buddy. We might be a little delayed too. That's the other thing as well, is we might be like a little delayed if you guys do. But comment, okay? If you guys have stuff to talk about, comment, please do that. Love to interact with you while we're chatting around. Oh, the artist speed dating thing. Yes. The writer artist speed dating would actually be super fun. Yeah, that would
it was awesome. It lasted, God, I want to say it lasted maybe an hour and a half. And God, I talked to so many writers, and I showed them, all my character ideas, all the story ideas that I had actually gotten to write down, and that was a lot of fun. I connected with a few people. We started collaborating on some stuff, and then again, they just kind of vanished. And I'm like, well, it would have been fun to work on, but I didn't have anything invested in it at the time, so it
Right.
happens. It's just the nature of the business.
It is, unfortunately, it is. I think that's one of the things. So, yeah, for us, you sent me a bunch of ideas, and Templar jumped out at me as like, so for me, I like what happens when I get like excited about a project is like if I read something and I go, okay, if I can twist it a little bit to say it in my own point of view in a way, then I know I'm okay. I'm invested. I'm ready to go. And just like you had some issues with writers and I've had issues with artists, it's like sometimes that collaborative process breaks down. And usually it's just like a literal lack of communication, which I don't know why it happens. Like I know what you're saying, it does happen, but from the beginning, you and I have talked every day, for the last year, pretty
much.
And that's good, as far as like, I know that we're on to something good, and we've been really excited about getting this launched for a while now. And I think we did the right thing. You know what I mean? Like we took our time coming up with the story. We bounced ideas off of each other. We did the script. We went through that. You throw some artwork. We, through the character designs, like you said, it started off as a male, and I made you change it to a female. I don't know if I made you. I think
it was a good call. You mentioned it, and I was like, hey, it's historically accurate. Let's go for it. The suit design changes really weren't that major. It's a couple of small things, a little bit in the colors, and because I went crazy on the male design, and I did like 10 different color schemes of the costume.
I remember,
And for this one, we pretty much nailed it on the second try.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and Ruben says you've got a great, best co-creator. I agree.
Absolutely.
I think what is really fun about this idea, and I'll give I'll have you do it actually, Griff, the elevator pitch for the story. But I'll just say something on my end is that I love going through historical things and reimagining them. Like, it's why I love even like Inglorious Bastards. I like The Old Guard. I like, that Stephen King, what is it, like 11/22/63 or whatever it is. Like, I like when something that we know is historically accurate, or at least we have an idea, and we can change it a little bit. We can mess with it a little bit. And I think in this first issue, we don't go too deep. Well, we go to the crucifixion.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little.
A little bit. But I like that because, like, none of us were there. We don't know what really happened. And so give us the elevator pitch. If you guys, we got a few more watchers now. We're about 10 minutes into this. Like, give us the elevator pitch as to what is this? What is Quintara Stone, the Immortal Templar?
It's about a Templar knight from the Crusades period, and through things that happen in the book, we don't want to give too much away, but she becomes an immortal, and then she spends pretty much the rest of her time leading up to 2021 protecting the world from any demon or creature that would do humanity harm. And it's not to say that every demon on the planet, or what we consider to be demons, are evil, because they're not. You have a faction of demons that want to do harm to the world, and then you have the other ones that they just want to make a living. They just want to blend in and hide and not be bothered and things like that. And we find her today. She's on a quest to, she's looking for someone, and we kind of use that for the starting point of the modern story, and then we kind of bounce back and forth from today to the past, and we'll probably do that pretty consistently. When something happens in the modern that kind of can take you back to a certain point in her life before, it's not going to be random. There'll be some kind of reasoning behind it, I'm sure. That's more Casey's territory, because he's the history guy, so he's going to want to play with all that past stuff. Just don't make me draw anything too hard.
Well, issue 2 is already.
I dread the Victorian period stuff, because that stuff is so hard. I don't know how Joe Benitez does it with Lady Mechanica, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, issue 2 is getting a little zany already, but we'll be getting there. But so some inspirations, I'd say Highlander, for sure. I think we say in the tagline, Highlander meets Moon Knight.
Right.
She's got a little bit of that in the sense of, she's been around for a very long time. Her power comes from something more ancient. We have a blending of actual historical facts. There was a female Templar. She was of Spanish descent. We wanted to play into that, but throughout the series, and it's hinted at a little bit in this first issue, we'll be seeing some things where Arthurian legend comes into play, and other just legends of, I guess, different cultures as well. Even in issue 2, we start going into Chinese culture. So there's going to be a good blending of mythological and more historical. What else I threw in? For Valiant, as far as how they structure their arcs, and I'm a big Eternal Warrior fan, so there's a little bit of that in there. Trying to think of what else. There's some Batman in there, of course.
Of course, you gotta have a little Batman in there.
Gotta have a little Batman in there.
A little Batman, a little James Bond,
a little James Bond.
She's been around forever. I mean,
yes,
she probably hung around with Sherlock Holmes. She probably hung around with some of these, warlords in the past, and she probably even knew Dracula.
We might have to throw that in there. Darius, drinks. Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Just drink water, but yes. What up, man? And I think it's just, it's one of these ideas where there's so much we can do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
And
there's still stuff you and I haven't gone over yet.
yeah,
I
I'm
started
sure
talking to
you
you about
have.
some of the I started talking about some of the heaven and hell kind of stuff a little
Yes.
while back, but there's
Yeah.
more. There's a lot more.
Yeah, we have a lot of things planned for this series, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we're
More
really excited.
characters, more
Yeah.
heroes, more villains. There's not just going to be demons. There's going to be
Yeah.
super villains, but everything is kind of centered around, you know, this demon organization.
Yes.
I don't know how much you want to divulge about that, but
No, I think that's it. What you just said.
yeah, yeah,
The demon organization.
yeah, and they have their human followers, and and we'll just kind of leave it at that for now.
Yeah. We'll let the stories unfold, and again, don't want to give too much away in this first issue, but
Right.
it does, even though we go between the now and the past, um I guess it's kind of like we're also going towards a future, and introducing this bigger world that she's a part of, and Griff kind of touched upon it too, but other characters that, I mean, she's been around a real long time. She's met a lot of people, and she's not the only powerful being in this universe. So that's really exciting as well. And those are the things that when you pitched it to me, I was like, okay, how can we make this cohesive thing, and how can we make this cohesive world, because I've actually never done that before.
Yeah,
And all
it's
of
a lot
this,
of world building.
yeah, like all the stories I've ever done, I know, like, these are the characters, this is their setting in this place. And with this series, it's like, well, there's a lot.
Yeah,
We can do some
we can
things.
do
So
anything, and especially since we're kind of almost taking the DC Comics approach and not having it based in a city that we all know.
right, that's true. Those cities, not every city is going to be fake. Most of them will be
Right.
real, but like you just said, with the DC, we can kind of play around and make up our own rules as far as that. But
Exactly.
let's show them some artwork.
All right.
Let's show you guys what this is going to look like, and we are going to launch tonight. So at the end of our talk, we will be going live with the Kickstarter. It will be running for 30 days. We will go through the Kickstarter and kind of, go over the tiers and everything. But like Griff's the main artist. So he's the co-creator. Well, he's the creator of the character. I guess I'm the co-creator, and but he's the artist too. So, he's got this package, and you've got a lot of awesome artists that have also contributed to this project in the form of variant covers as well. And man, we got a hell of a lineup.
Oh man, you ain't kidding. I mean, we have my buddy from back home in Liverpool, Syracuse area, Matt Flint. He's doing our A cover. A friend of mine I met out in California. He's a Upper Deck sketch card artist. He's done some other stuff with some other various small press stuff. His name Anthony Helmer. He's got quite the following on Instagram.
Well, let's show the, as they're naming them, let's show off what they're contributing, just so we can put a face to the name.
Sure. let me pull up
the cover. Yeah, let's call cover A. This is our main cover, which we'll be offering here.
Actually, I have to pull that stuff up.
Okay.
So let me do it this way. Let me do the panels from the Kickstarter, because that has 2 covers per panel, and we'll just go through it that way.
That works. We do have a question here.
Yeah.
From YouTube. I don't know who this person is. Apitz Ben Sennen. Hello there. What t-shirt does Griffin wear with show it full screen and standing? Thanks. I think they want to see your Demon Slayer. Do you know this person?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, I got my Demon Slayer shirt on.
Yeah.
Rocking out my anime stuff. Because my influences come from just about everywhere. anime, Hong Kong cinema, the old kaiju movies, Godzilla, Western
Ultraman.
comics, manga, Ultraman. I mean, I love so much of various different stuff. It's just kind of hard. It's hard on my wallet more than anything else.
That's right. So we're gonna pull up some art here. So as Griff
All
is
right.
pulling that up, this is sorry, we're working with technology on this end. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions for us, just throw them in the comments here.
All
So
right, there we go.
here we go.
All right, so cover A is by Matt Flint. It's a good friend
Yep.
of mine from back home. Anthony's cover has not been colored yet. She is working on it this week. Excuse me. I'm hoping to have it early next week. I will update the page as soon as it comes in.
Yeah, Gwen, amazing
Oh,
colorist.
she is so good.
You'll see
We'll
her
see.
stuff in a second. Yeah.
Yeah, in a second we'll be open up the next one. It'll just take me a moment.
Yeah, no problem. So, guys, there's going to be different tiers with all these covers. We'll have some holofoils, we'll have some blank sketches, we'll have a lot of different options to mix and match for what is going to fit your needs. We also will have add-ons. So if one of the tiers doesn't work for you, we'll get you what you need as far as this artwork goes.
Oh, for sure. And there's going to be some add-on only covers. There's going to be some black and white variants. We may do a couple of the foils as add-on cover. We'll get into that after we launch, and we'll see how things are going. Once we hit certain levels, we'll start offering some other stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Now this is going to be our blank sketch cover, and then the cover D is the one that I did with PH Gomes. I did it as kind of a loose homage to the Joe Quesada Ninjak stuff from the 90s, because I always loved that stuff. So I kind of felt like I needed to do something similar to that without doing just a straight out ripoff of it.
And Ninjak is a heavy influence
as
well. I forgot we both are Ninjak fans. I got my little Ninjak mini mate that always hangs out with me here. So yeah, that's another influence. And that's a naked cover though.
Yeah, that's going to be a version cover because
yeah.
The way I did it, I just didn't want to ruin it by throwing trade dress on it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful cover.
Thanks.
And PH, guys, he is the colorist. He's doing Inferi, my other book, and he's also working on The Illusion Witch for Ruben Romero, and he did the interiors for this book. So
he's doing such a good job.
yeah, he really is. Okay, here we go.
All right, this is Greg Bo Watson. It's the colorist Gwen, the color that she has done for the book so far. She did such a good job on the colors for this. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And the next one is from Bill Mouse. He, for anyone not familiar with Bill's work, he did the Zen Intergalactic Ninja books in the 90s, and he is the creator of Nira X. And he's a really cool dude, and I've liked his work since the 90s. So it was really easy for me to reach out to him and ask him to do a cover.
Yeah, I've been a fan since the 90s as well. Yep. Yeah, these are both fantastic too.
All right.
And they don't end. One of my favorite things is that I will, be getting copies of all of these.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I'll do is I'll just get like a big 18 by 24 poster and just put them all in there.
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, I can't wait to have all.
Yeah, your whole room is going to be like
insane.
And this is issue 1, so who knows?
Oh, I know.
What do people do? Like I was thinking about that because we have so much great artwork for this, and even in the other stuff I've done too, I have a lot of it on the walls. It's like, what do you do when you're like Scott Snyder You know what I mean? Like, what do you do when you're like one of these, or like Bendis, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Or like, what do you decide goes up on your walls? And you're just like, that was issue number 46, and like
Right.
this panel was cool, but like I've already done like 1,000 more pages since then. It's like, how do you decide? Or like, McFarlane, you know what I mean? Like, how do you
Yeah.
decide what to do?
A lot of these guys don't even put any of their own work on their wall. It just lays in a box somewhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just
I mean,
crazy.
like I saw a picture of Frank Cho's office, and he has like those big wire restaurant racks up against a wall, and there's just so many of them. And he has binders and binders and binders of all the
Of
stuff
his
he's done
stuff.
for
Yeah.
Marvel,
Yeah.
and then he's got all the original artwork from Liberty Meadows.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude doesn't sell much of his work.
Ruben says we're going to need more walls. That's right. You're going to need a
Yeah, gonna need a
bigger
lot more.
house,
All
bigger
right,
boat.
these are uh, Stephen Butler is another one of those artists that I've liked for a long time.
This is a
He
fun
was
one.
the
Fun
first artist
cover.
on the Badger, and back in the '80s when I was in high school, I loved the Badger comics. I never really even thought about the fact that maybe someday he would do a cover for me, and he was a big prominent Spider-Man artist in the '90s, and he was the one that designed the Ben Riley Blue Hoodie Scarlet Spider suit. So I'm just thrilled to have him doing a cover for us, and he did such a good job. It
Yeah,
is such an
that's a
awesome
very
cover.
fun cover. Very fun cover.
And then we have the Lead Killer, Ken Lashley. I've known Ken for a long time. I met Ken back in the '90s, before Age of Apocalypse came out, and he and I have been friends ever since and kept in touch over the years. And he always said that he would do a cover for my first comic book, and it meant a lot to me that he actually said he would do it, and it's a big deal to me. And if I get the original artwork, that will sit on my wall forever because I would never sell it.
No, I
I,
would
I
never
actually
I would never sell that.
I actually have one of his pages from Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He gave it to me. God, he gave it to me probably 23, 24 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's been on my wall pretty much ever since. Various places because I've moved a lot, but I'll always have that.
Yeah. It's
But
it's
this will be colored. I'm still reaching out to a couple colorists. I'm waiting to hear back. Unfortunately, Gwen was not available to do this one, so I'm talking to a couple different guys, and then I'll pick one and we'll go with it, and it'll be done before the end of the campaign. Once we have colors, I'll update it in the system, and I'll shoot it into one of our just regular updates that the colors are done and show everybody.
yeah. Yeah. It's just
It's sick.
it is. It's
It's
it
it's
is.
just it's so ridiculously good, and I cannot wait to see this colored because this is like our Batman vibe coming through here. She's on the gargoyle and the lightning behind it. It's such a cool image.
Yeah. It's really, really, really fantastic. I we were blessed to get all of the great people. That was all you, man. You did fantastic job reaching out to everybody. Everyone who contributed did just phenomenal work. Every time you
Oh, they
showed me a new
did.
cover, I was just like, what the hell? Like, this is you know what I mean? Like, it's bonkers as a creator. I mean, I don't know if you feel this way because we're on different sides of the coin where I'm the writer and you're the artist, but like I'm always shocked when I get pages from an artist because it's just I can't do it. So for me, I'm just like, this is insanity. Like I would never in a million years, think about what I wrote down on a page looking the way that it does. You know what I mean? So, not to, get your head up any bigger, like even the pages that you gave to me of the interiors, you know what I mean? Like when you would send me a new page and I'm like, okay, holy shit, here we go. Like this is coming together. So just I feel very lucky as somebody who just scribbles words down that you know, you're on it. Obviously, you're the creator of it, but like also all these other contributors as well. Like we got very lucky, and I
We
appreciate
did,
that.
and honestly, it was never really meant to have this many covers available. Originally, it was just like, okay, Ken's going to do a cover for us. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
that's enough.
yep.
And then I did a cover because I wasn't really sure I was going to do a cover for the book. And
Hmm.
then Matt said, "Hey, let me do a cover," and I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do a
Yeah.
cover." And then I was reaching out to artists for book two,
Hmm.
and some of these guys were like, "Well, I can get one done by the end of September." And I was like, "All right, here we go." And I started reaching out to more guys, and it was like, "Holy crap, we have 8 covers." And
Yeah.
we're already well on our way to having 8 for book 2 because I already have. Do we want to give away any of the cover artists for book 2, or do we want to hold and sit on them?
Um, we can talk a little bit about it. Yeah, you can mention some of the names for book two. Like
Well, we
obviously
have
we're excited.
oh, absolutely. I mean, we have Jim O'Reilly for book 2. We have Alfred Trujillo, Courtney Rose, Ryan Kincaid said he would do a cover for us,
Nice.
and right now the big cover we have is Al Garza,
Yeah.
and I'm just thrilled to have all these guys involved in the project, and we have more. It's just we haven't confirmed yet, but there are more coming, and for book 3 there are more coming. So
Ruben
it's
says
just going to
name
keep
the
getting
name.
crazy.
Yeah. So, it's just something where, you know, we're pumped. We think this is a project that has a lot of legs. We are excited for everyone to come out as people start contributing and sharing too, because I know that times are
Absolutely.
tough. Like a share, honestly, is just as good. Like
Oh,
if you can't
absolutely.
monetarily, contribute to the project, that's fine,
Yeah,
because you never
of course.
know who's gonna be into the thing that you're into.
Right.
Um, and right now, because we're launching towards the end of the year, like it's Christmas time, people are Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
They might want something for their husband or wives or whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Doesn't
absolutely. And we're
whatever. So
looking to do fulfillment in January. We were looking at December, but we don't want to fight with postage around Christmas time. It's too
whew,
crazy to try and
yeah.
ship around then, and more packages get damaged at that time of the year. So I just don't even want to deal with that. January is going to be the better way to go because not as many people are going to be mailing things in January.
Yeah. Yep. So and the goal amount, what did we say the goal amount is?
2,500
2,500. So can
to
you pull
fund the
up the
book.
Kickstarter page?
Yeah,
So let's take a
you
look
can
at the
stop that
Kickstarter
one.
page, and we'll show you guys some of the tiers in addition to the, um, I guess, just the preview. Like in addition to the covers, some of the things that we're offering is, let's see here. So you can get digital copies, of course. You can get the different physicals, all of those. We're offering holofoil covers, right? As an
Currently,
add-on.
we have one hollow foil cover
Yep.
as, and there's some preview pages for the interior, so you guys can see what the inside
You
of the
can
book's going to
see
look
what
like as
Griff has
well.
done. Yes.
Yeah,
Griffin PH.
and
It's very violent.
yeah, a little
This is
violent.
it's yeah, this is
We're
definitely violent.
we're we're
Yeah.
not we're not 100% kid friendly, but that's okay because comics aren't just for kids anymore.
They're for everybody.
I mean, you got your digital DFAT tier here with a bunch of the comics that you've done in the past, which are all fantastic because I've read every single one of these books. They're all worth having on your shelf. So everyone go back and ferry, get some books. And we're trying to be reasonable as far as our goals for finances because I know a lot of Kickstarters guys start out at 20 $25 out of the gate for one book, and I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't want
like
to
it.
alienate anybody. And I'm not there yet. This is my first full comic book.
Oh,
I've
right.
got to build my following. So I want everyone to have access to it. So we have two books at $12. We have Matt's and Anthony's books at 12, and we have the blank and my virgin cover at 15. And in Kickstarter land, $15 for a virgin cover is really cheap because I've seen some virgin covers for $30, $40.
Yeah, I have to. I've
And
paid for
I
some.
want to scan too quickly through these interiors so everyone can kind of get a look at what's going on here. But we're comparing her to Moon Knight because she's not shy about taking someone out.
She is not. And actually, I'll drop. I'm gonna drop the link in the comment section too. So if anyone's just hanging out, you can follow along with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have the $18 tiers as Greg Bow and Bill Mouse,
Yep.
and then for the $20 tiers we have Stephen Butler and Ken Lashley. And you're going to pay $20 for a Ken Lashley cover at Frankie's Comics. He does a lot of exclusive variants for them. So
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty fair price for an exclusive Lashley cover.
Yep.
And then at $25, we have the only foil that's going to be available as part of the regular campaign. Any other foils that we decide to do are going to be add-on covers after the fact.
Which is fair. Yeah.
And then we have a t-shirt tier. You see what the t-shirt would look like here on a gray shirt. And then we're going to have 5 original sketch cards. And
By
these
you.
are the 5 cards that I did for the campaign. And so this is really the only one of the only original art tiers on the campaign, because all of the interior work for this issue was done digital. So there is really no original art for this. Book 2, I will be penciling traditional. So we'll look at that for the next book and see if we want to do an original art tier at that time. Most likely we will.
Yeah.
And then we have a sketch cover tier, which would we're opening this to 10 sketch covers. So I'll do a full color sketch on the blank for 10 people that just choose if they want to have that tier. And then we have an all you can see yourself in issue 2. We're opening up to 5 people that your face will be drawn into one of the bad guys at some point in issue 2. And then we have all of the regular books. So you get every book with the exception of the foil. So that's 8. You'll get 8 books plus all the backer goals. So any stretch goals we have would be included in that.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're reasonable. I think they're priced well. Not just as a person who runs Kickstarters, but also someone who buys a lot.
Yeah, I buy a lot.
I became a super backer today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've backed. I think I'm going pretty close on to 45, 50 that I've backed, and I've got like 4 or 5 of them that haven't ended yet right now.
Yeah.
Um,
I was
yeah,
like,
and
well, how
I
much
think
did I spend to get this badge?
I spend a lot. I've spent up to $60, $70 on one Kickstarter, and then I've added stuff on after the fact. So it gets expensive after a while. But I want to. Indie comics to me is the future of comics. Marvel and DC are always going to be there,
Yeah.
but they're grinding the corporate machine. And honestly, page rates could be a lot better for the amount of money these guys make. And I think there's more heart in indie comics because there's an emotional investment into what these people are creating. I mean, they stand to lose everything if the books don't do well. So they really put everything into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Creator owned, I think, is, when those guys started Image and decided to go off on their own, I think it was just, it was 30 years ago, I guess, 30 years ago. But it was, now we're catching up to that. in the last
Absolutely,
like 5
because
years, 10
yeah,
years. Yeah.
and companies like Comics Wellspring are making it much easier for
Thank
people to go,
God.
"Hey,
Yeah.
I wanna create a comic book. How do I
Yeah.
do it?"
Yeah.
Well, anyone can order 25 books and go to a convention and say,
Yep.
"Here, I created this. Check it out. See if you like it." I mean, what's it cost to print 25 comics? Less than $100, and that's in full color, and that's with shipping.
Less than it's like 75, I
Yeah,
think. It's
and
really
that's
cheap.
full color with shipping included. It's pretty
Right.
cheap to print their minimum.
Right. Not that we're giving away our margins on this, but just so you know, it takes a lot to
Yeah.
make indie comics, guys. But I think this is a good time to launch.
All
I think
right.
this is it. So let me pull up this screen again. Let's get crazy. So
Yeah. So what do we have?
Thursday,
8:37.
yes, 8:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. So
We
let me
are we are
click this
drum
button
rolling.
and see how things go.
See what
And
happens.
we are
Ready to launch. I'm still drumming. And
we are live.
We are live. So, like I said before, even if you can't contribute financially, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know how the times go. If you can share it, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I would
But
be grateful for any support. And if you can't back it, come see us at a show.
yeah, for sure.
I'll,
We're on
I'll
the
be
East Coast.
doing I'll be doing as I'll be doing as many shows as I can next year. So
Is your show next week? Where's your Fayetteville show?
Fayetteville show is October 16th and 17th at the
Okay.
Crown Coliseum in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay. I thought it was, but yeah, then it doesn't compete with the New York Comic Con. So
No,
okay, so
week after.
yeah, so see Griff live, and see his awesome work there. You're a featured guest, right?
Yeah,
Which
that's
is awesome.
my first show as a featured guest. That's
There
pretty
we go.
awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. And you're there with good people.
Yeah, Dan Fraga, Andy Smith, Jim Shooter.
Yes, that's right. I forgot. I didn't know if you told me Fraga was there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any last words to say about the Kickstarter? Anything else that you think the people need to know? Because some of these guys won't be watching it until after we're already launched. Like,
Of course.
if you're like me, so it's usually after the
Yeah,
fact. But
honestly, if I had to say anything, is we're just getting started. Yeah,
that is very good.
I mean, this is I'm excited about this, doing this. We're excited to launch other characters. I mean, we're in this for the haul.
That's it, man. Very much so. Very, very much so. So please help support indie comics. Share it. We will be promoting this thing for the next 30 days. Kickstarter is all or nothing.
Yes.
And we will make sure it's all. So please help us out there. I think you guys are in for a very good treat, whether it's one of the variant covers, whether it's a t-shirt, whether it's bookmarks, whatever the case may be. I think there's something in there for all indie comic fans, and I think you're going to have a hell of a ride with this comic. So very excited about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm thrilled. I mean, this has been a long time coming for me. A long time coming, and this is not the project people probably expected me to do. People probably expected me to do the balance first, but things change.
Well, the future is bright, so we will see what happens with these other characters. So everyone who came in tonight to watch us, thank you very, very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate everybody who chatted with us. And if you're watching after the fact, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the interwebs very soon. So thank you. Please support us, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.